Hey guys, it's your friend Kobe here, and I know that a lot of you are really struggling to save money on everyday expenses and just make ends meet right now. You may be thinking, Kobe, there are so many expenses that are just sucking away my money, and it seems like no matter how hard I try, I can't save as much as I want to. Look, I get you, my friend. With inflation being twice as high as last year and 7 times higher than most years over the past decade, it can feel like your money is leaving your wallet as soon as it gets there. So I've sat down and put together several ways across 4 categories where you can save money on things you're already spending money on. From food to transportation, these tips could save you upwards of $4,800 a year. And I feel like all these tips are pretty reasonable, unlike some money tips online. How? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll start with the simplest and smallest and work our way up. Be sure to stay for the last tip because it'll save you the most money. The first everyday expense you can save money on is food. There are quite a few ways you can save money while shopping for food. Before you buy groceries, there are 2 things you can do to save money before you even step inside the grocery store. First, shop from your pantry. You may be surprised at what you already have in your pantry, fridge, and freezer that you can actually use. Try to use most or all of your items before you even head to the store. If you're stuck with all these different things and you don't know how to put a recipe together, you can either search for things on YouTube or there's a website called myfridgefood.com where you can input ingredients that you already have and see recipes that could work with it. This tactic alone can save you upwards of $100 a month on groceries. Second, make a list and stick to it. Once you've decided what you actually need from the grocery store, make a list of these items and don't buy anything that is not on that list. This list will help you avoid unnecessary purchases. In addition, go to the store on a full stomach when you aren't tired or sad. It's much easier to stick to a list when you're not hungry, emotional, and you have a reasonable time constraint. Why the time constraint part? Well, it's easier to have a focused grocery trip and save money if you don't have time to roam up and down each aisle of the grocery store looking at all the items that you're not actually supposed to buy. In addition to sticking to your list, do your research to figure out which grocery stores near you have the best prices. You may be surprised at which ones are actually more affordable. I have a friend who, while living in Washington, D.C., regularly shopped at Safeway until she realized that Trader Joe's was actually a lot cheaper. When comparing prices, be sure to pay attention to not only the big price tag, but also the price per ounce. Sometimes the item may cost less at one store, but actually cost less per ounce at another store, so you should pick the less per ounce spot. Another way you can save money when shopping for groceries is to buy in bulk. This is especially true for items that A, don't go bad quickly, and B, you'll always have a use for. For example, buying in bulk for items like cleaning supplies, toiletries, canned goods, and pasta can save you money over time. In fact, this can save you up to $250 a month on food. The next way is subscriptions. In addition to food, subscription services can make a big chunk of your monthly expenses that can be cut. Most people have an average of about 12 monthly subscriptions, and millennials in the United States have an average of 17 monthly subscriptions. All of these services can really add up. In fact, while the average consumer thought that they were spending about $86 a month on subscriptions, the real average monthly bill was closer to $219 per month, which is $133 more than the consumer originally guessed. So if you're the average consumer, chances are instead of spending $1,032 a year on subscription services, you're actually spending closer to $2,628 a year, and that's nearly a $1,600 difference. That $1,600 can go a long way beside going for a subscription service that you don't actually use that much. So how can you cut back on subscriptions? The first step is to go through your bills or checking account and write down each and every subscription service you actually have with the associated monthly cost. Or you could also download one of these apps that help you do this automatically. You may be surprised at the number of subscription services you're actually paying for. Then decide which ones you actually like and are worth keeping. For example, it may be worth keeping 1 or 2 streaming services or the one that lets you watch football, because let's be honest, football is life, and which ones are not worth your money. For example, the monthly food subscription service that's probably actually costing you more money than saving you money. Don't believe me? Click on the video in my description box to see how these monthly food subscription services compare to each other and if they actually save you money. Side note, they probably don't, but you'll have to watch the video to find out. In addition to this, chances are that you have a family or friend who has the same subscription services as you and will be willing to let you share their account in exchange for them sharing one of your accounts. That way, you and your friend or family member get the benefit of 2 subscriptions while only paying for 1. Of course, this doesn't work with all subscription services, Netflix, but it would work for many of them, especially the streaming services like Disney Plus that haven't really gotten strict on that. Before we move on to the next couple of ways to save money, if you've enjoyed this video thus far and want more videos in the realms of personal finance and business analysis, consider subscribing. I'm trying my hardest to make the best videos I can, and your subscription means the world to me. Okay, now back to the rest of the video. Another way you can save money is by being wise about how you get from place to place. In most places in the United States, it's really hard to get anywhere without a car. So when you're choosing a car, get one that won't bog you down with monthly payments or excessive auto shop costs. Preferably buy a used car like 3 to 5 years old. After all, a car loses about 60% of its value in the first 5 years. So don't count on a car as being a good investment. COVID car craziness will not last forever. You need to do your research and look for a car that is reliable, fuel efficient, inexpensive to insure, and in your budget. To aid in this, be mindful of when you're buying your car. The best times are at the end of the month, during the holiday weekend sales, and at the end of each quarter. And always negotiate to get the best deal you possibly can. The posted deal is never the best deal. In addition to being smart about your car, look around to see if there's any public transportation options you can use on occasion. For example, I have a friend who has her own car but chooses to take a bus to work every day to save on gas money and parking. In her city, she qualifies for free bus rides and train rides, so she's been able to save a lot each month by opting to use her car only for other activities such as grocery shopping, trips, and longer distance things. If there isn't public transportation systems where you live, which let's be honest, it's America, so there probably isn't, consider using a bike or even walking for closer commutes. I personally chose to bike to school every day for college because after you accounted for finding parking and walking to the actual class, I would save time and not have to pay for a parking pass. Plus, I'd get a nice little workout in on my way to school every morning. In addition to transportation, you can also save money on your housing costs. When choosing where you live, consider these 3 things: location, size, and maintenance. These 3 things can have a huge impact on your housing bill. So by choosing housing wisely in regards to location, size, and maintenance, you can save a lot of money. First, location. Living right in the heart of the city can definitely be fun, yeah, but it can also be really expensive. Take Los Angeles, California, for example. To rent an apartment in LA, it could cost you upwards of $3,000 a month. In contrast, an apartment of about the same size in San Fernando, California, which is only about a 30-minute drive away, could cost you only $1,500 a month. That's half the cost. Sometimes where you live is dictated by what you do or where you work, but even then you can choose how far of a commute is actually doable for you. When picking out a place to live, be sure not to live too far away because driving an hour to work really sucks. This trick can save you even more money if you work remotely and you have the freedom to choose wherever you want to live and ideally live in low-cost areas. Second, size. When considering how much space you actually need, try to balance wants and needs. For example, it may be nice to have a guest bedroom, but the convenience of having that extra bedroom may be outweighed by the additional cost of the extra space of the square footage. It may also be nice to have extra storage space, but it may also be more economical to just sell your excess material belongings and be content with what you have without spending more money every month on that extra storage space. Another thing to consider when choosing your housing is how much it will cost to heat and cool the space. Larger and older apartments and homes typically cost more per month on heating and cooling costs, while smaller homes that are newer typically are less expensive. Whatever you choose, be sure you are living within your means and don't become house broke, which is essentially when you're spending too much of your total monthly income on your living expenses, making it nearly impossible or at least really difficult for you to achieve your other financial or personal goals like investing or saving for a down payment on a house. Third, maintenance. You may find a charming fixer-upper home for a great price, but be sure to account for all of the costs that come with maintaining, repairing, or even updating your house. You could save a pretty penny just by learning how to do basic home repairs yourself. Be careful though to not get in over your head. Botching a home repair could cost you even more than hiring someone to do it right in the first place. So be sure to be careful on any home rental project. Another way you could save some money is by having roommates. Now, obviously, if you're married or you have your own family, this is probably not the best option for you. But if you're single, getting roommates can easily cut down your rent to a fraction of what it would be if you lived by yourself. Remember that $1,500 a month apartment in San Fernando? Well, with just one roommate, that apartment would only cost $750 a month, which means that other $750 that you would have spent on housing, you can now save or invest. So when you're trying to save money on everyday purchases, don't forget about your food, subscription services, transportation, and housing. I think it's pretty reasonable to save $100 each month in each category, which would be $400 a month or $4,800 a year. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to save even more. I really hope 1 or 2 of these ideas will really help you guys out. And if you guys enjoyed this video and are looking for more information on the worlds of business and finance, consider subscribing. I do my very best to put out well-researched videos every single week just like this one. I hope you guys have a great day and thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.